making our lives easy, but is also helping in automated decision making, which is actually the need of the hour to stay in the competition. But is AI able to do every possible thing that a leader needs to do? No. Things that AI cannot replace are on your screen. The very first thing that AI cannot replace from humans is creativity. Creativity is something when you are able to do the same thing with different methods, with different steps or processes, or you are able to do that particular thing or task in a more creative and different manner that is not only appealing, is practical, and is enhancing the results as well. AI cannot replace empathy. AI understands data-driven decisions. AI understands a logarithm. But empathy is a thing for humans. Empathy is an emotion where you are able to understand the feelings, the emotions of other individuals. And as a leader, it is very, very important for each one of us to understand that empathy is a core to any relationship. When you are able to understand the pain, the grievances, the improvement areas of your team members, the team would certainly be able to understand your targets. When, as a leader, I am able to empathize with their problems, with their challenges, they would definitely be able to understand and work upon the challenges faced by a project or by an organization. Further, AI cannot understand emotional intelligence. I would take a while to discuss what emotional intelligence is. Let us move to point 2 in the meantime. When AI cannot replace creativity and empathy, AI also cannot replace human judgment. You may call it gut feeling. You may call it judgment based on observation. You may call it judgment based upon experiences. So that can certainly not be done by AI. AI understands a logarithm but does not understand human values. So this is something, again, a core to leadership that helps in making ethical decision making. Ethical reasoning is another aspect that AI cannot replace. That is why it is important to understand leadership from human perspective as well. When you and me are working as a leader, let us understand we have to inspire our team. We have to connect with our team. We have to create meaning to every task that we are allocating to our team members. That cannot be done by artificial intelligence. A leader who's empathetic, who's able to understand human emotions and practice emotional intelligence will be able to inspire the team, will be able to make close connections, and would certainly be able to create meaning in every task given to the team. Hence, there are many things because of which emotional intelligence is required, is essential in this AI-driven leadership era. As I was talking to you that I would be talking about emotional intelligence in the next slide. So this particular slide is talking about why there is a need of emotional intelligence in today's leadership. When we have data-driven decisions, when we have stats with us, when this entire world is a global village, and we can compete with anybody at any level on the basis of data available. We may be conquering the virtual world, But still, emotional intelligence is needed because emotional intelligence ensures leadership remains human centered. Because as a leader, I would not be ruling, I would not be instructing machines. I would certainly be dealing with human beings. And in such case, leadership must be human centered. The shift towards human centric leadership in 2025 and beyond, the companies are not just upgrading their technology, they're also upgrading their mindset because empathy would be a new competitive advantage. When I'm talking about leadership and the need of emotional intelligence, I want to tell you that leadership at its core is all about people. It is all about people, their emotions, motivations, fears, and aspirations. As a leader, I have to take care of all. That is where emotional intelligence becomes indispensable. We may be working or we will be working with the help of AI in every possible domain. But leaders will not be differentiated by how well they use AI. In the coming times, they would be known by how humans they remain while using it. So let us understand what is AI driven leadership first, and then I will move to emotional intelligence. When I'm talking about AI driven leadership, this particular approach is using or is augmented by AI tools and analytics. In this particular form of leadership, you may be a coach, you may be transformational leader, you may practice autocratic leadership, or you may be transactional in approach. When you are using AI data, when you are using artificial intelligence applications and softwares to draw decisions, you would be using augmented tools. When I'm saying this, I want to tell you that AI driven leadership basically refers to a leadership approach where decision making is taken by AI tools, data analytics, and intelligent systems. It focuses on efficiency and optimization and prediction and the performance enhancement. When I'm talking about AI driven leadership, the leaders require optimization of such AI tools, but they also need to integrate human judgment. They also need to integrate emotions and they also need to integrate values with machine intelligence. Then only the true leadership can be practiced. When emotions or emotionally intelligent leaders are so important in every sphere of business to make meaningful decisions, let us understand what emotional intelligence is all about. Emotional intelligence, as the word has been derived from the word emotion, it gained importance somewhere in 1960s. But the Daniel Goldman in 1995 highlighted this particular terminology, emotional intelligence, in his book, Why It Can Matter More Than Intelligence Quotient. In this particular book, he explains in a beautiful manner that how emotional intelligence can be used in effective leadership, how emotional intelligence can actually impact workplace performance, and how it also helps in personal decision making so that team can work cohesively. Emotional intelligence is basically an ability to perceive, understand, and manage, and further regulate emotions. It works at two competencies. One is self, and the other is social. And emotional intelligence is very, very critical for interpersonal effectiveness and trust building. Because if we are not emotionally intelligent, probably our behavior would not be adequate as per the culture of the organization or the situation of in which you are. When you are able to understand your emotions, when you are able to manage them, and when you are able to regulate them, right kind of behavior will be exhibited. Behavior is motivated, influenced by thought process. When you are able to regulate your emotions, you are certainly regulating your thought process. And when thought process is being regulated, wise, law, and that is how it will be exhibited in the behavior. When I'm talking about emotional intelligence, you are able to see one particular metrics in front of the screen. This particular quadrant or the matrix has four quadrants, the four boxes. It is basically governed by two competences. One is self and the social. And at both competency levels, we need to recognize emotions and then we need to regulate emotions. If I have to explain this particular diagram, let us start from the first quadrant, which is self awareness. The self awareness is a quadrant where an individual needs to understand about self. Now, what can be understood by self? In self awareness, we would be talking about our strengths, our improvement areas, what motivates me, what are the factors that affect me negatively, how am I managing emotions, am I too critical, am I too, uh, you can say, am I too observant, am I too careless, am I highly emotional, or do the changes does not affect me? We have to understand and analyze all sort of questions within self. When you would be asking all these questions to self, you will be able to understand what are the things that motivates you or increase the confidence, or what are the areas that improvement. And then the bottom quadrant comes to picture, that is self management. If I'm very emotional, if I'm unable to control my emotions in public, I have recognized that in quadrant one. And in quadrant two, I would be working on self regulation or self control. Here, I would be practicing certain unique or self designed methods with the help of which I am working on my emotions. And that is how my behavior or my actions would be adequate as per the situation. And hence, I would be very, very concilious. I would be more adaptable. I would be highly motivated. I would be an initiator. And because of all these qualities, I would be trustworthy. Not only my team members would be able to trust me, my leader would also be able to trust me for any kind of work. If I have to analyze this particular quadrant from a leader's perspective, excuse me, just hold on for a second, please. If I have to understand this particular quadrant of self management from a leader's perspective, I am able to work on my improvement areas. I would be able to see good in my employees. I would not be panicking at critical situations. I would be able to take wise decisions at the time of challenges. I would be more adaptable. I would be able to handle my team effectively. I would be a motivator. And as a leader, I would be initiator because I'm clear in my head what is expected, what I have, and what more needs to be done. When self is managed, we need to jump to the third quadrant, which is quadrant of social awareness. Again, we are dealing with human beings all the time. Being human, we cannot live in solitary. So we need to learn how a social behavior is to be exhibited. In social awareness, I am aware about my organization. I am aware or I'm trying to learn or recognize the environment of the organization in which I'm working. Hence, I would be familiar with the culture. I would be able to empathize with the people around me. That means I would be able to understand their problems as well. I would be more aware with my social environment. I would be more receptive towards the social environment because now I'm clear about myself. And the last quadrant talks about the social skills. When you are aware about yourself, you are already working on self management. You are aware about your social environment. You would certainly be able to exhibit acceptable social skills. That means effective leadership and influence. When I'm talking about emotional intelligence, this particular quadrant is of utmost importance because in this particular quadrant, people are actually exhibiting the actions. And that is how your team, your bosses, your leaders would be able to understand how much emotionally intelligent you are. When you are emotionally intelligent, you would be practicing transformational or inspirational leadership. That means you believe in development of yourself and at the same time you would be contributing to the development of the team and to the society at the large. Then your goals and tasks would be sustainable in nature. You would be believing in you would be believing in team spirit, and hence you would be building relationships. An emotionally intelligent leader actually works in team and believes in collaboration. An emotionally intelligent leader develops others and creates a positive influence among others. So I'm sure you are able to understand what leadership and leadership styles are and what is emotional intelligence. And understanding all these aspects, you would be able to connect the dots that why emotional intelligence is needed in AI driven leadership. If I have to go by stats, trending now human centric leadership, when all the leaders are having ready data with them, I want to tell you that AI driven leadership is so impactful, so powerful these days that nearly 77.5% of mission driven leaders are using artificial intelligence multiple times a day. Almost 53% of the top executives are using generative AI at work. But this is not the only area where leaders are working. They are trying to use this particular data to practice human centric leadership. Human centric leadership is a form of leadership where organizations are upgrading their mindset also and not just technology. It is a leadership where Leaders are able to understand that data is available to take empathetic decisions so that more creative, innovative products and services can be provided to the customers. Leaders are working on their emotional intelligence because now leadership success depends upon EI largely. We are able to extract tons of data in a single click, but how to utilize that data is of utmost importance. And when you are practicing emotional intelligence as a leader, you would be able to draw the results in the favor of humankind. You would be able to withdraw, you would be able to create certain results with the help of which sustainable, environmental friendly products and services can be created. In human centric leadership, it is important to mention that creativity and adaptability are of strategic priorities. I'm sure you are able to feel the buzz of entrepreneurship around you. These days, we are talking a lot, especially in India, we are talking a lot about entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial efforts. In CGC University Mohali, we are committed to provide entrepreneurial experience to every student who's entering into any program. The only agenda is when you are working on a certain startup, you are not only creative, you are not only innovative, you are able to have certain sense of the social environment. And this particular platform would help you to practice leadership with emotional intelligence. Let us understand how emotional intelligent leaders behave. The leaders who are emotionally intelligent, they are adaptable and resilient because they are able to understand the emotions of self, and they are also able to understand the emotions of their followers. They are quite adaptable. They are able to adjust themselves to the situations very quickly, and they are resilient. They practice perseverance, which means they don't give up easily. They understand that challenges are the part and parcel of any decision. Challenges would come at every step of business, at every step of projects. But handling the challenges effectively and intelligently is the key of effective leadership. And emotional intelligence gives that knack to a leader. Emotionally intelligent leaders are self aware. As I told you in my previous slides, that such leaders are able to understand themselves in a better way. They know their strengths, they work on their improvement areas. When you are clear about yourself, your decisions would certainly be clear. You would be able to give effective directions. And that is what an emotionally intelligent leader does. When you are a leader, people would be coming to you with their XYZ problems. They would have a lot of grievances with the system. They would also be coming with the problem of lack of resources. They would also be coming up with their home problems. But emotionally intelligent leader works empathetically. The leader who is practicing emotional intelligence just does not deny or disregard the employee. They would patiently listen to every problem of the employee, would try to provide the solution of the problems at right time. And that is how is able to make good relationship, trustworthy relationship with the followers. We all are humans And we all face problems, sometimes professionally, sometimes personally. So, when we are able to understand this particular thing, that every person is having their own set of problems, we just have to make an arrangement where they are able to sail through them while working for us. The journey would be smooth, harmonious, and comfortable. And that is what emotionally intelligent leader believes in. They are highly empathetic in their approach. And emotionally intelligent leaders are good communicators. It is not about the language, but they have control on the communication. They know what sort of emotions are to be exhibited when. Sometimes they are aggressive in approach. Sometimes they are highly empathetic. Sometimes they are polite. Sometimes their tone is very understandable. And they practice all these emotions on the basis of the momentary circumstance. Emotionally intelligent leaders practice good communication because, as a leader, also you must have good communication to influence others because you are given a task of getting things done through others. And that is how command on communication is essential. And when a leader is emotionally intelligent, they are able to communicate empathetically in such a way that all sort of problems are taken care in the communication in such a way that employee feels motivated, employee feels connected, many a times employee feels listened. And that is what that keeps the employees trust not only in the leader but also in the organization. When we are working with humans, conflicts are very common. Emotionally intelligent leader manages the conflict effectively, listens to both the parties patiently, tries to understand the basic reason and provide a win-win solution to both the parties. Many a times the conflict is not directly connected with the organizational mission. The conflict is not directly impacting the organizational results, but still, it is very, very important to handle and manage the conflicts effectively. Because, after all, the employees who are in conflict have direct impact on the organizational results. They are motivated, they will produce more results. They are demotivated, they are having conflict that is unresolved. They would be highly aggrieved and non performers. And that is a cost to any organization. So, an emotional, intelligent leader generally handles and manages conflict effectively. When I'm talking about benefits of emotional intelligence in leadership, let us understand that how AI and EI can benefit any leader together, staying in the same frame. A leader, uh, I'm having certain messages. Okay, there is one question. Will leaders with high emotional intelligence always be more effective in an AI driven workplace and why? Okay. I would like to answer this particular question first, and then I would be coming back to this slide. The question is, will leaders with high emotional intelligence always be more effective in an AI-driven workplace? Yes, the answer is yes. The leaders with high emotional intelligence would always be more effective because They would be able to understand the human emotions. When I'm talking about AI driven workplaces, we are only dependent upon the data. We are dependent, highly dependent upon a logarithm. And that is how the decisions would not be human centric. We would be speaking the language the data is providing. But as I told you, that whatever decision is being taken on the basis of data available, we would be impacting human lives directly or indirectly. And then, if emotional intelligence is an important component of that particular leadership style, the human impact would be more. The decisions would be taken keeping humans in the center, and the decisions would be more human centric. Leaders who are practicing emotional intelligence, keeping a track on AI data, they would be able to create a win win situation. They would be able to create some human based, human beneficial decisions that can actually help humans creating and innovating in any sphere. I hope I have answered the question. There is another question. What role does empathy play in leadership as human interactions are increasingly mediated by AI technology? Oh, yes. Paulina, thank you for your question. Yes, the question is very relevant, that what does empathy, what role does empathy play? Um, we can understand it in a way that when we are interacting with each other, the major discussions, the decisions are highly dependent upon AI data. But when emotional intelligence is added, as I told you earlier, empathy is playing a very, very important role. In this regard, I want to explain the meaning of empathy once again. Empathy is an emotion where you are putting yourself into the shoes of others. That means you are trying to understand the problem of others like it is my problem. When you are able to understand that aspect, when you are able to understand the emotions in which your follower or your team member is in, you would be able to empathize, you would be able to understand the situation of that particular employee, and then certainly the decision would be very different. So it is important that empathy plays very, very important role. The leaders who are empathetic are generally having more and more trustworthy followers as compared to the leaders who are practicing transactional leadership style where only give and take is going on. When I'm saying transformational leadership, I'm trying to tell you that it's inspirational. And inspiration cannot be the part and parcel without empathy. If you cannot feel the pain, you can certainly not able to help. So empathy plays a very, very vital role in order to understand the problem of the followers, finding the right decision that is not only helping the employee, but also not harming the effectiveness of the project or the task, and hence is able to create better human connections between the parties. I hope, Paulina, I'm able to answer your query. Okay, so moving on to the slide. When I'm talking about I'm talking about emotional intelligence in AI driven leadership. We have to understand that in this digital transformation world, emotional intelligence or emotional quotient ensures success. Our advertisements, whatever we see, on mobile phones or on TV are a practical example of it. Whatever stats is being provided in advertisements does not impact me much. But when it is related to certain relationship, when that particular stats is provided by, okay, let me explain it in another way. When a stats is provided by a suited booted leader in front of the screen, probably is not going to hit you that much. But when that particular stat is provided through a conversation of a mother or a child, mother or a son, that would definitely have more impact because you would be able to placing yourself uh, in the place of those characters. And when it happens, you are able to understand them better and are able to empathize with them better, and hence decisions are more effective. I just want to quote one example here. In India, these days, the advice or the suggestion of children play a very, very important role in purchasing, be it, the purchase of automobiles, be it the purchase of FMCG products. It has been seen, and the stats also suggest that the children's suggestion has high impact. Why the children are an important member in taking final decision? The only reason is because the families are emotionally connected. And when a decision is taken, the feelings, suggestions of every member seems important. And that is how you are able to see that companies are selling their products and services, keeping relationships in mind. Another benefit of emotional intelligence is it is ethical. When you are emotionally intelligent, you would be able to draw a difference between right and wrong. You would be able to decide what is ethically correct, what is to be done, not only for my welfare, but for the welfare of society as well. And hence, your approach would be inclusive. And when I'm saying inclusive, it means you are including everybody connected into this particular decision. The leadership that is practiced on the basis of emotional intelligence provides inclusive and empathetic decisions because we are including humans. We are giving importance to human emotions, and hence decisions are taken taking the assistance of data available. Emotional intelligence is also helping in adoption of emotional quotient in team performance. When a leader is empathetic, the team would also practice empathy. The team would be more collaborative, the team would be more united, and they would be working together for a common goal. And no need to say this that yes, in today's era, when everybody is highly dependent on artificial intelligence, EI, emotional intelligence, is a strategic differentiator. A leader who's able to understand, analyze data. A leader who's also able to understand humans. A leader who's able to influence humans would be more successful as compared to any other leader. And hence, emotional intelligence is an important strategic differentiator. The research suggests that 80% of digital transformation is influenced by emotional intelligence. Whatever digital transformation you are able to see around, it is basically dependent on emotional intelligence. It's also been suggested that 90% of differences in leadership performance is also dependent upon emotional intelligence. The leaders who are able to practice emotional intelligence are exhibiting more success as compared to the leaders only dependent upon AI. Yeah. We also need emotional intelligence because AI needs human imagination. And imagination is the subconstruct or the byproduct of emotional intelligence. AI actually can automate tasks, can also generate insights, but AI cannot set vision. It cannot create emotional resonance, which can certainly be created by emotionally intelligent leaders. And hence, emotional intelligence is required, is needed. Let us understand that AI can replicate logic. AI can help with data, but not empathetical or emotional depth or creativity. When I'm talking about human leadership, rooted in empathy, vision, and values, it remains irreplaceable. We cannot replace it. Organizations that invest only in technology without investing in emotional intelligence, they risk losing trust, they risk losing morale and long term sustainability. Leaders who are not integrating human touch, they are taking impractical decisions many a times. The leaders, in order to take ethical decision making, they need to be emotionally intelligent because AI systems can unintentionally reinforce bias or create ethical dilemmas. You are able to see on ChatGPT as well. It says that ChatGPT may make errors. You need to check the data provided by ChatGPT. So, emotionally intelligent leaders are better equipped to assess the social and emotional impact of AI decisions. Emotional intelligence promotes fairness, it promotes transparency, and is actually responsible for use of technology, ensuring that AI aligns with organizational values. After all, we have to give the results that is embedded in organizational values. So, it is important that leaders must integrate artificial intelligence without losing the human touch. Because of all these disruption, the workplace is being reimagined now. We are working in the time where we are having hybrid and global teams. We are working with the teams who are diverse, not only geographically, culturally, but they are diverse in their backgrounds, in their mindset, in their imagination. So only data cannot help to connect with them well. It can only be done through soft skills. And hence, it can be done, it can be learned with the help of emotional intelligence. The workplace is being reimagined, and hence communication, storytelling, and problem solving are critical. And all these things can be practiced effectively only and only if we are emotionally intelligent. Learning now focuses on creativity. We are not very keen to learn through a monologue. We want creative methods to learn, to explore, to practice, to experiment. And that can only be done with the help of emotionally intelligent leaders. If I have to say the bottom line, AI actually can replicate logic, but not creativity or empathetical or emotional depth. When I'm talking about future proof skills, human leadership with a vision and empathy is irreplaceable. Hence, it is important to invest in human side along with the technology is critical. What are the benefits? If I have to jot down the benefits of AI for AI driven leadership, I could divide them into four categories. One is ethical decision making. The leaders who are practicing EI, they are able to assess emotional and social support, social impact of AI decisions. Whatever data is providing, what would be the social impact? What would be the emotional impact on teams, on humans, on society? And hence, emotional intelligence is able to address bias, is able to address transparency issues and ensure fairness. Further, EI is helping in change and crisis management. We have already talked about the conflict management, but there would be other situations when there are crises in the organization. We are living in a world where there is all uncertainty. AI driven data can create stress, can create unclear, impractical goals. But with the help of emotional intelligence, the leaders take wise decisions empathetically, depending upon adaptability and resilience. Another benefit of emotional intelligence is human and AI collaboration. We humans are responsible for the creation of artificial intelligence. So, how and why the leadership should only be dependent upon AI? We should not be removing the human content from leadership because leaders are the people who influence others. They are the role models, they are the guides. And hence, human AI collaboration is vital to practice for every leader. AI enables leaders to address employees' fears of automation. As these days, there is a prevalent notion that AI is going to eat our jobs. And there are certain AI based leaders who are saying, no, the nature of the job will be changed. You just need to upskill. You just need to adapt to the changing environment, and then no one will be able to take your job. And that is how emotionally intelligent leader transforms the environment of fear and uncertainty to learning environment and to the environment of assurance and motivation. A leader who is emotionally intelligent actually building trust and creating an acceptance of AI technologies and hence enhancing collaborations. How these AI driven leaders can be made emotionally intelligent? They can only be done with the help of training, training of self awareness, training of empathy. There need to be certain practices which can help you and me and other people to be more intelligent emotion wise. And that is how we would be able to exhibit AI based leadership. If I have to talk about the future of leadership, there is no doubt that it would be EI plus AI because AI is here to stay and EI is something we have to work upon. All the successful leaders around all the nooks and corners of the world are actually combining emotional intelligence and they are able to differentiate between the leadership effectiveness. But let me tell you, dear friends, that emotional Emotional intelligence actually bridges the gap and okay, thank you so much. And I'm so sorry that there was a technical glitch due to which I got disconnected. I am resharing my last slide with you. So I was talking about the conclusion that AI is here to stay, but yes, it does not has the place in emotions. If I have to look ahead, the future of leadership lies in the powerful combination of EI and AI, emotional intelligence and artificial intelligence. All successful literature leaders would need to be emotionally intelligent and technologically literate at the same time. Because AI is here to enhance leadership capabilities, but as I said, it would not be able to replace human emotions. Emotional intelligence is here to help the leaders where they would be able to bridge the gap between the humans and machines. EI driven that AI adoption is ethical, it is inclusive and sustainable. In this age of intelligent machines, I want to tell you, dear friends, that emotionally intelligent leaders will define true success. That is all from my side. Thank you so much for the patient hearing. If you have any doubts on the topic, you may please ask.
Okay, thank you so much for your presentation. And for our participant, if you have any question for the speaker, please add them to the chat or you can raise your hand.
Okay, I have a question on the screen. Uh, yeah. Zara is saying, why can't emotional intelligence be completely replaced by AI in leadership process? AI is able to provide data, is able to provide decisions, but whether those decisions are right for humans or not, this particular intelligence is not given by AI. Whatever decisions or whatever possible decisions are provided by AI data that can be checked and reinsured with the help of human intelligence only. And when I'm talking about human intelligence, emotions would be added. Because after all, the decisions would be impacting human life directly and indirectly. So, whatever factors are impacting because of decisions, we have to take all the factors well into account. And that is how emotional intelligence is a key that would remain relevant all the times. Another question, I hope I could answer the query. There is another question. What are the key characteristics of AI driven leadership? When I'm talking about key characteristics of AI driven leadership, definitely data driven decision making is one of the important characteristics. When I'm talking about AI driven leadership, we are actually focusing on data, we are focusing on algorithms, we on logical connections that artificial intelligence is able to provide us. So these are the certain characteristics that is helping in AI driven leadership. Another question by Ayub is, what is emotional intelligence and why is it this concept important in the context of modern leadership? Just imagine I am sharing my thoughts without a smile with a particular gesture on a face and telling you that the entire question has already been answered. Probably, as a human, the answer would not be that receptive. AI does that. They don't care about the emotions. They are data driven, they're straightforward. And that is why emotional intelligence is needed in modern leadership. We are in a time where people are unclear, people are uncertain. They have number of choices on almost everything around them. They have a lot of data. What amidst of the entire data, what is relevant to me? How to choose that? Emotional intelligence is helping me to make a choice in this particular regard. When I am a leader, I cannot take decision that is only and only favorable to certain set of people. the products, the services we are working on in the organizations. We have to work in a way that is helpful and beneficial to the people at large. That is why UNO has given the sustainable goals. The goals not only talk about profitable manufacturing, profitable marketing or selling, it talks about unity, equity, it talks about saving the environment. And when I'm talking about all these goals, I am actually talking about an emotional intelligence. Because when you are emotionally intelligent, you are able to understand your social environment. And on the basis of your social environmental understanding, you are able to you are able to create goals that are helpful not only to people but to environment and to other species as well. That is why emotional intelligence is important. Now, the question is, what is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is the ability when you are able to understand the emotions, you are able to regulate them, and you are able to exhibit right kind of behavior in the environment. I hope I am able to give the answer of this particular question.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I guess no one else asking again. Okay, before I close this event, for all participants, please open your camera. I will take a picture on the count of three for documentation. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Another one. 1, 2, 3. Thank you for your keen cooperation. Finally, we come to the end of visiting lecture today. We would like to thank you for Dr. Vidhu Gupta for the wonderful information and sharing your knowledge. We hope this information will be beneficial for all participants. At least we hope more collaboration in the future. The visiting lecture for today and I hope to see you soon. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you. Thank you so much, each one of you. Thank you for your time with me. I hope I could trigger a thought process in your minds. God bless you all. Thank you.